what makes two partners compatible? And the partnership that I'm talking about here is the romantic type. Okay, so as you can see, me and this kitty, we're compatible, but this is just, you know, the compatibility of two different species, let's say. The one I'm referring to in this video is the romantic type of the same species, specifically human beings. Okay, I don't know what makes a male cat and a female cat compatible. You know, we'll need someone else to explain it to the cats here, right? Maybe you can. There's some wisdom in her. She's wise, so maybe she can explain it in the cat YouTube world. I'm sure they got that. So, what I'm going to talk about here is what makes two partners compatible for, let's say, a fruitful relationship. Let's use the term fruitful here. Because, you know, you don't necessarily have to stay with someone forever, have a life partner that you stay with, you stick with, for a relationship to be fruitful, to be, you know, conducive and fruitful and successful, let's say. Although you can. And at least we want to have the ingredients in place for manifesting, for bringing about that type of relationship, that type of partnership in a romantic sense. So that type of partnership, isn't she so cute? How can I even concentrate on making this video when you're just being so cute? So that type of relationship, that type of partnership, now I could use the classic, you know, the mind, the heart, and the body have to be compatible, and that would be absolutely correct. The mind, body, heart compatibility. So let's talk about that. It really is a compatibility of the chakras, of all the chakras. So let's start with the heart compatibility. The heart compatibility between two beings. Oh, you're so beautiful. The heart compatibility, let's try it. There we go. Let's go. Hey. So the heart compatibility between, let's say, a man and a woman comes down simply to this: a mutual appreciation of the manifestation. That's what loving is. Love is acceptance and appreciation. So a mutual appreciation, acceptance of the two people involved in the relationship is the heart compatibility. So I love you just the way you are. I appreciate you just the way you are. I don't want to change you. I don't ever want to change you. It's an allowance. That's what the heart compatibility is. I allow you to be exactly as you are. And it has to go both ways. It takes two to tango. Right? It takes two to tango. So it has to be both ways. For both people involved, it has to be. I mean, if one person is appreciating the other person, not wanting to change them whatsoever, that's love. But the other person is going into their mind and you know, imposing their version of reality and trying to change, and I want to change you. If you wear this, you'd be better. If you do this, you'll be better. You know, if you just to maybe change the way you speak, or if you you know, if you're just a little less loud or that or this, that's not love. That's not acceptance. That's not allowance. If you want to be in a successful partnership, and again, successful does not necessarily equate with we are, we're in love forever until death do us apart, although it can. Then yeah, there has to be a mutual appreciation. I love you just the way you are. I appreciate you. It has to be that way. Appreciation is acceptance. You can't appreciate something unless you accept it. I can say I appreciate winter, for example. And by saying I appreciate winter, I accept the moment. I may still have a preference for the cold, for let's say heat, for hotter weather, But by accepting the winter, by accepting the cold, by appreciating it, I accept it and I accept what is. It's not, you're not killing off your preferences. And that's what true love is. It's not a killing of your preferences, it's an appreciation of everything. So to appreciate your partner is to love them just the way you are, just the way they are. And then you may still have, I mean, this is where the mind compatibility comes in, because you could appreciate someone but still have a preference for, like, you could look at someone, let's say you prefer, I mean, I'm gonna use, oh god, I hate using these labels, but they're so limiting, but I'm just gonna use them to demonstrate a purpose. You could have a preference for, let's say, an introverted partner. Let's say you want, okay, so you guys can see this rascal here. So you could have a preference for an introverted partner. Let's say you want to get in a relationship and you want like someone introverted, someone more quiet, you know, that may be a preference. But then you meet someone and she or he is extroverted, and you appreciate that person. You see, like you just like, wow, like, yeah, I love the way you express yourself, etc., etc. Now you love that person, although you still have a preference for a partner to be something else. But by you appreciating that manifestation, you love that person. Now you may get in a relationship with that person for some time, and then what happens is, because your preference for, let's say, an introverted partner will kick in at some point, then that relationship may last for a month or two, but ultimately, because the mind compatibility is not there, then that relationship is not likely to last. It's not likely to, and again, last, you know, again, it doesn't have to be until death do us apart. But you know what I'm saying? That relationship is not likely to be too fruitful. Why? Because the mind is going to clash at some point. So the heart compatibility, to put it in simple terms here, is a mutual appreciation of each partner. A mutual appreciation, a mutual acceptance is the love. Then you're both of you love one another just as you are. Now, if only the heart compatibility is there, I can make a very accurate prediction that will apply to 95% of all cases, that relationship is going to be short-lived. Because we are human beings living on this plane of existence, dominated to a large extent at the moment by the mind. And we have a mind of our own, preferences of our own, expectations of our own, and they will surface up. So that's where the mind compatibility comes in, is having two minds compatible. So what do I mean by that? If you're in a relationship and the heart is there, oh, I love you, it's just the way you are, you're, oh, you know, but you want children, she don't. She wants children, you don't. And there is a clash there. The minds are not compatible, the vision is not compatible, it's not mutually agreed upon by the two partners that this is what I want to do with my life, this is what you want to do with your life. It's not there. And because it's not there, it's going to cause some issues. Something is going to surface up, and different expectations, different vision for life, and that will definitely get in the way. And it may even get in the way of the heart thing, because you may start to say, well, you suddenly like start to see the flaws in the other person. Well, because your mind, there's a clash in the expectations, in just, you know, it's mind stuff. Like, because when you're looking for, when you're in a relationship with a partner in a romantic sense, a fruitful relationship means the chakras are aligned. It means all the chakras are aligned. And if all the chakras are aligned, there's a very good chance that you may indeed get in a until death do us part type relationship. Now, but the change is the only constant in life, so you may have the chakras aligned for some time, and then change happens, and then that's when people break up. Right? That's when people break up. So the mind is, let's say, these chakras, the higher chakras, like the vision. That's the third eye. When you see a vision, like you want a certain vision for your life, and if your partner has a different vision, like if, let's say, you wanna settle down, you wanna stay in one place, but your partner wants to travel. How's that gonna work out? But I love you, you love me. Oh, there's like a mutual appreciation, right? But then it's like, but I want to travel. Like, I don't. Well, there we go. You see? So that has to be there as well. We have to acknowledge our humanity. We have to acknowledge that we're on a plane of existence that's where we have our own minds that are playing the subjective reality. And if the mind is not, it's not in sync, it's not aligned with one another, the vision isn't there, is not mutual, that relationship has nowhere to go, really. It has nowhere to go, despite the heart connection being there, despite the mutual appreciation and love, and it's not gonna work out, because we're human beings. We have, like, things we have, like, again, it's not just the higher chakras, the lower chakras too, like security and survival and stuff like that. If you are not in agreement as to how you're both going to create a life together as two human beings, how you're going to, pay your bills or not pay your bills. Maybe, what if you want to go live off grid and she don't, or she wants to go off grid and you don't? She still wants to be in society, but you don't. How's that going to work out? You see, it's all the chakras there. So how are we, because if you're sharing a life with someone, you're sharing all the chakras: security, survival. Where am I? Where are you living? Are you in agreement with where you want to live? Etc., etc., etc. And then there's the physical attraction, the body, which, in my opinion, is just the manifestation of the mind. So I feel like if the heart connection is there, the mutual appreciation and acceptance of the manifestation as is, and if the mental part of it is aligned also, then the physical will follow, because the physical is the manifestation of the mental. All is mental. Mind creates matter. So the physical attraction will be there. Physical attraction doesn't have much to do with, well, I like, you got big titties, I like your titties, or this and that. It actually is more about the mental and the heart. If the mental and the heart alignment are there, the physical attraction is going to be there, regardless of how you or he or she look. It doesn't matter, actually, at all. Once the heart connection is there and the mental connection is there, and both of them are aligned, and you both share the same vision, you both appreciate one another, love one another, accept one another. You don't want to change the manifestation, even when the manifestation changes, because everything's changing. So you maybe appreciate your sweetheart now for being, like a wonderful poet. And then a year later, your partner stops writing poetry and starts creating art, let's say. But you're always in a state of appreciation for what is, for the manifestation, because you have to keep in mind it's always changing. So that's what love is. It's a consistent appreciation of the manifestation as it's unfolding itself. And then the mental. So that's why there has to be, when you are with someone and you're sort of screening, the long-term compatibility, let's say, there has to be talking about the vision. What is do you have shared vision? Do you share the same values? So the vision, right? Where do you want to live? Where do I want to live? And so that's the sharing of that, and that equals a successful relationship. Whether it's going to last until death do us part, or whether it's going to take some time, and perhaps things change, and maybe the mental alignment is no longer there. Maybe you both agree, well, I really don't want to have children. And then maybe 5 years down the line it changes, and one of the partners wants to have children suddenly, but the other one still doesn't really want to, right? But then they break up. I still call that a successful relationship, a fruitful one that has seen significant mental, because the heart, even at the breakup, the heart connection is, it's still there, right? Like, it's aligned. I still appreciate you for exactly who you are. But maybe a few years down the line it changes, and so the mental alignment is not there fully anyway. It's not there fully, and maybe now the relationship has to break apart. That's a successful relationship right there. That's a successful relationship. So that's success, and the gauging the successful relationship is very, very subjective. But you understand what I'm saying here, right? You dig what I'm alluding to here. What I'm alluding to here is, yeah, the mental alignment has to be there. The heart is not enough. But then I see a lot of these relationships in the West. The mental alignment is there. The two partners are in agreement. They both, let's say, work. You see this a lot in the West, but the man and the woman work because they both want to they want to have a cottage house. They buy a cottage house and they're happy about it. They're mentally aligned. We'll work 9 to 5 until we're we'll retire, and then we'll buy a cottage house somewhere, and we'll just go there in the summer. So they're mentally aligned. They have the same vision, the same values in life. It's the same thing. They're both in agreement. Let's have 2 kids. They have 2 kids. They build a family. The mental is there, but the heart isn't. You see these relationships a lot in the West. There isn't really necessarily a mutual appreciation or showing. They're not showing the appreciation. They're not particularly appreciating the other manifestation because they're not appreciating themselves. There is a serious lack in heart chakra a lot in the West. So there's just not appreciation. So the mental connection is there, but the heart isn't there. And so, the girl can't orgasm and the guy sometimes has difficulties getting it up. They're not feeling it. They're mentally aligned intellectually. They're in agreement of the menu, but they're not having, because the heart connection is like sort of the experience of life. So they're in agreement with the menu, but they're not even having the food. So they feel starved in a relationship. The partnership feels starved, even though hey, we're in agreement with everything. They share the financial resources. They're in agreement of how they want their life to be, but the heart connection isn't particularly there, you see. And because the heart connection isn't there, that's a relationship that could last until death do us part, but it's not a successful, fruitful relationship. The heart connection isn't there. So you don't gauge the success of a relationship by how long it lasts or how long it lasted. How many people are in relationships and they're just there, they're sticking it out because of the kids, or for whatever reason they don't want to be alone, or they're scared that they're not going to have money, Yeah, so you don't really gauge it by that. Okay, you gauge it by the fruitfulness of it. Was it fruitful relationship? Did we learn to connect on the heart level? And did we at least for some time align ourselves mentally? You see, it's a different gauge altogether. It doesn't have to be how long it lasted or this or that. Was it a fruitful partnership? Was it a fruitful partnership? And as rare as it is, any relationship out there where the 2 couples went on until death do us part, and it was successful. It was successful because the mind and the heart were aligned pretty much most of the way. Of course, things will change, and so. But sometimes, let's say your partner suddenly wants to have children, and out of just so much love, you might even genuinely from the inside start to want to have the same thing. You see, so it's not that you're always perfectly aligned the whole way, but you understand what I'm saying. There are factors that come in, and so your mind, you may experience your mind change too, and then your partner explains it to you you're like, it wouldn't be so bad to have a kid, so your mind changes in that way. So you see, so any relationship that lasted for a long time or is until death do us part and was truly fruitful, they didn't stick it out because they don't want to be alone or anything like that. You are so beautiful. You are so beautiful. You are so beautiful. Then it was the heart-mind alignment. The relationship, for the most part, the whole way, was aligned mentally and on a heart level. And I invite you to look at your own life, your own relationships, and your past relationships that were not very fruitful, and look, there must have been some disagreement on a mind level. There must have been lack of appreciation. one either mutual lack of appreciation or one partner wasn't appreciating enough. What, like, they were looking at you and seeing your flaws, or both partners were looking and seeing each other's flaws, because that's not love. That's just you want to change things because your mind, you want to manipulate them with the mind, because you have expectations of partner to be a certain way, but they're not that way, so there's not that appreciation. And I guarantee you'll see there was a misalignment in both, most likely in the heart and in the mind as well. But yeah, if both are aligned, then you will at least have a fruitful relationship. Forget the time and how long it lasts, blah 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 blah. There will be a fruit out of it. There will be something fruitful. Okay, something you can bite into and get the nutrition from, get some nutrition from. And that's why I don't really talk about the body here, the physical attraction, because it just follows mind. You know, you might be attracted to one person because you're mentally aligned and you're aligned on a heart level, and then when that's lost, you're not physically attracted to them anymore. But you know, she's still got the same titties, the same ass. You still get the same, I don't know, hair and muscles or whatever. But suddenly the attraction isn't there anymore because the mentally something changed. Because mind creates matter. That's why I didn't talk about the physical, because the physical just, again, it just follows, right? So yeah, that's about it. Thank you to all the patrons for your support. I'm really loving my new friend here. So thank you for all the support. I love you guys. If you'd like to support, either maybe just donate a couple of bucks a month on Patreon or one-time donations. It all goes towards the Off-Grid project now. All of it, every single penny. So thank you guys. I love you. The links are in the description. Instagram at Saeed Mobayed. And until next time, may the force. Oh, you know what? I got a cat in my lap here. So let me just may the force be with you.